Good morning, everyone. It's Luke Knott from Aesthetics Interactive Studios. It is Saturday, the 27th of January, 2018. To begin with, I'd like to say that this will be our last session for the time being, due to the space that we got on our website, which is currently running low, because we ain't been getting the equivalent funds to upgrade our video hours. So this will be our last session. Not because it's not being given up entirely. We just want to leave some space on our website for other things that we will be doing. So we will definitely be coming back to this at a later time, sometime this year possibly. I also like to mention about the progress that we got in our video game called Haven's Light. We have been working on that for a long time now. Well, I wouldn't say long time. Been working on it since the 11th of November, 2017, and at the we were aiming for a February release of the demo. That's the demo, not the full game, just the demo. But it may look like that the demo will be sometime during the summer, possibly, or we might leave it until or we may leave it until autumn for the Halloween time. But a lot of progress on our game has been made, and it's looking reasonably well. We finally added in sound effects as well, so we get a bit more lively in the game. So it's not going to be all silent and no sounds at all. That's all I wanted to cover today with our intro. Now, we got a lot to do today in Blender with Luke session 4. We are looking at things like fire, the Blender compositor, and modifiers. We'll also be looking at homogeneous rays and logo making. So again, I'm Luke Knott, and this is Blender with Luke. So to begin with our Blender with Luke, we are going to be looking at modifiers to begin with. For those who do not know, modifiers is a way of creating certain looks to or environments that you want to make for your scenes and stuff like that. To find your modifiers, we go over to our properties window here and just click on this wrench or spanner, whatever you want to call it, and we can add a modifier to our cube. So first off, we're just gonna click on that, and as you can see, we got a variety of different things that we can do. We have our array, which allows you to create like a line of your object that you got. For example, with our cube, we can just click on a line, and as you can see, we just added another piece. We can also split it off by clicking here on our offset. As you can see, if it's on one, it's exactly joined together, so it's like a line. Or we can split it slightly. But we also got our count right here, which you can just keep clicking, and it will increase the number of cubes that you got. Which is good, which is cool. We could use that if you like. If you seen my last video when we used this is those who are watching the members version. We used the shape keys to create like a lightsaber kind of look. You can use the array as well if you want to for such a thing. So that is the array modifier. We also got bevel, which basically gives these kind of edges to your object. You can change the width of it, so you make it more smaller, or you keep it where it is. I'm going to leave it on 0.1. You can also change the segments, which makes it more smoother. But be warned, the smoother it is, the slower your computer will get. You also can use a material, which we don't want to go into right now. That's what the bevel does. It just smoothens out your object's edges to make it not so sharp. We also got boolean. Now the only way you can see a boolean effect is if I have another object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another object like a cylinder. So I'm going to press the space key and type in add cylinder and press enter. And I'm just going to move that to the side like so and just move it up. Oh, move it up like so. So now I'm going to add in our boolean to this cube. At the moment it's on intersect, but we also need to select our cylinder to see what happens. As you can see, I just selected my object here, which is the cylinder, and we got this look, which shows that the cube is actually inside the cylinder. We can hide the cylinder, so you can actually see what it does. This came out of the cube. You can also change from intersect to union, which joins it together, or you can use difference, which cuts the cylinder, or cuts a hole in the object. You can also move the cylinder around if you want to, which you can't do when it's hidden. So we'll do this, and you can just move it like that, left click. You can hide it again by pressing this. Oops, I clicked on that. You click on this eye if you want to hide the object. The hotkey to hide your objects is the H key. So if I had that selected and press H, it hides it. To bring it back, the hotkey is the left Alt key and the H key. And that's how you hide and bring back hidden objects. That's what the boolean effect does. So let's delete our cylinder for now, and then we can just get rid of the boolean. That's a good thing if you were making things like kind of like if you're doing some engineering work and you got like a metal bit and you got a screw section. If you want to make that kind of mesh or model, you can use a boolean effect with a cylinder to basically dig holes into the actual metal sheet that you're working on, if you were doing that. So booleans do have an advantage in many things. We also got our build, which allows us to build our object. It builds it based on your time frame. So if I click on play here, you can see it starts building it up. Now there are many things you could do to make it look more lively. You can edit, we can change this start frame if you want to, as well as the length for how long it takes. It takes 100 frames to build a whole thing. 100 frames. You can change that. You can also randomize it. Now this can be used for good animation designs, like for logo making. You can have the build modifier to build up all the texts or your logo brand or anything like that with the build tool. So that can come in handy for logo making, which is actually something we'll be working on today. As I said, the subtopics in today's session is homogeneous arrays and logo making. So and people who are watching this will be able to will be making their own logos, which shall be fun. It can be a logo for your brand, like your studio brand or your product you're making or a movie you're making or anything like that. So we're going to be looking into that, and that's where the Blender Compositor will come in. So we looked at those. We also got Decimate, which, as you can see, it's a kind of weird thing. You can use the unsubdivided version, which can change it, or you got the planner. I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it on collapse. There's 6 faces, and it can just completely disintegrate your object through the ratio. We also got edge split, which splits the edges if we want to. I'm gonna leave that where it is though. I don't want to mess around with that. There's some of these modifiers here that I have not yet used, so I can't give a clear demonstration of what they all do. But there are ones that I can show you, like mirror. But the thing about a mirror is that it mirrors your object based on the object that you got. It's like, for example, you can use the mirror if you are making like a object that is symmetrical. So if you got like something like a plane, you want to build one side of the plane, but you don't want to mess up the other side. You can use the mirror. You can use the mirror modifier that mirrors that one side of that plane to the other side, so it all matches. But you have to be careful when it comes to things like textures, because it will mirror the textures, makes it reverse. So you can use the mirror if you want to make the mesh, if you want it to be for, but I would also say like the textures should be left out until the final. So if you do finish your texture, all you do is click on apply, and then it will keep it there as if you've made the actual side. And you can also hide the side as well if you wanted to. You've got multi-resolution, which we don't want to go into right now, because you need subdivision. But we don't have subdivision, this is just a simple cube. You got remesh, which I don't want to get into. I never used it, so I don't know. Some of these are quite new. We also got screw, which that looks quite weird, to be honest. But the screw effect is more of like making a screw, but we got this aimed at our lamp right now, and that looks quite weird. But at the same time, it looks quite cool. Or you can aim at the camera. So I wouldn't go into too much details on what the screw does, but what it does do is kind of makes like the screw joint sections. If I aim this at an object, for example, as you can see, we got this kind of in between sections, like an actual screw that we got. Don't want to mess around with it too much though. So let's put it down to 0. Let's put it back down to 0 and just cancel that one. I'm just going through some of the modifiers, that's all. You got solidify, which solidifies your object. This is more better for if you're using plane meshes for like clothes and or flags and all that. You can make it more. You can make the plane mesh more solid. You can work on other things as well, but I use it mainly for the cloths when it comes to clothes or the flags, so that it does not. So it actually looks like it's got actual like a size to it or a depth, so it makes it look more natural instead of just a flat object, because nothing in this world is completely flat. Nothing. So you use that. You got subdivision surface, which, as you can see, I can make it into like a ball. I can change the view, and you can make it more smoother. This render, this is your view. So this is how it looks in the viewport. This is how it will look in your final render. So if I had that at 4, but then I move that back to 1 or 0, it will end up looking like that in the final render. So that's something that that will come in handy if you are making a complex. This is how you make a complex model without actually making it complex. So I'll just turn the cube into a ball, which is very handy. You've also got triangulate, wireframe. I like wireframe because wireframe allows you to build this like cage-like thing that you can have around an object. You can change the thickness as well if you want to, so you can make it more thicker, like so. Let's put it back to 0.1. Well, it was on 0.01, but we're leaving that 0.1. You can do crease edges, but we don't want to go through all that. Offset and boundary and things like that. I used the wireframe for my for the Aesthetics Film logo, the Aesthetics Film Studios logo. We used the cylinder, and we used a wireframe modifier in order to create that cage, that spherical cage-like thing with the gem glowing inside it. Now you've got deformed things like displacement. Now displacement is one that works with things like textures, and you need like a lot of subdivisions in your, or you need a lot of divisions in your object in order for it to be present on your object. And that's also handy when it comes to making normal maps for your textures that you are making as well. So you can have like a bumpy maps on an object and vice versa and stuff like that. You got hook, which I believe hooks to an object. I'm not sure the exact purpose of it personally because I don't use it, but if I have to suggest, it's got something to do with changing how something is. I will try not to talk about things that I've not used, because I haven't used everything, because you don't necessarily have to use everything. Like I said, I'm good at Blender, but but I don't know everything, because everyone's got different skills that you use, or that we use. Smoke is something we'll get into later in this video. So the ones that I generally used have been wireframe, subdivision surface, solidify, boolean, and mirror, depending on the object, and corrective smooth sometimes, and displacement. Everything else I rarely use because they're not part of what I'm working on most of the time. The other thing that we want to look into is how to make fire. Yes, that beautiful fire. Alright, let's just press Shift C. Just bring my cursor back into the middle of the grid. Now this is going to be, now when it comes to fire, there are a couple of things you can do. You can go down to here to your add, and you can just select your fire thing from down here. You've got your physics tools for your cloth ropes and stuff like that, lighting scenes, grouping scenes, force field, and etc, etc. You've got your quick effects here, where you got quick fur, quick explode, quick smoke, and quick fluid. Now, you can use that if you want to make a quick fire. So let's do that now. As you can see, we now got our domain box, which is for our fire. As you can see right here. Now if I press play, we have this smoke. Beautiful smoke, very beautiful. This is just the smoke only, though. And that's from the cube itself. The cube is producing smoke, as you can see here. And we've got our smoke effect here. Now we can change it to fire if we want to. But at the same time, but also you can, so I'm just trying to hear out for things, because I know some people interrupt me most times. But where was I? Yeah, we've got this smoke effect here, which looks quite nice. We can continue playing, and as you can see, it does look quite nice. The one issue we have here is that if I go into render mode quickly, you can see our smoke here, which is nice. Get back into our solid mode before my computer crashes because of recording. Now, one thing we're going to look at with our material, especially with our object here, we got our smoke density, which is already set up for us. If you was going through the way that I was going to show you, creating it from scratch, you're within your domain box, which we have, and we got our flow source, which is the cube. Now, when we got our domain box, we already got our density things set up here. So, but what we're looking for is in our texture section here. And in our texture section we've got our smoke density and we've got flame. Now there is no flame because it's just smoke. We can add fire if we want to, but we had to change the domain settings, or the actual flow setting, which is fire and smoke. So if I change that from smoke to fire, and then press play, now we got ourselves a fire. But we got to now click onto our domain box and look back into our texture. Our fire also has its own effect. As you can see with the color ramp here, we have this fire look. Color ramp is important. Other things that are important when it comes to making fire is your coordinates have to be generated. Your source has to be the flame. For your smoke, your source is smoke. You also got to look at your influences as well. As you can see, our volume for our smoke texture is 1% density, as well as reflection. That basically means how much light goes through it and comes out the other end, kind of like subsurface scattering. We also got, with our flame effect, we also got it generated, but we also got density and emission. Now the reason we have emission is because it's fire, it's light, it's generating light source. This is your basic fire, pretty much. We can also change the size of the square if we want to a bigger size. But be careful when you do that, because it also drastically changes. As you can see, it changes the fire source of your cube, or let's just say your fire in general. You can also change our domain box, or our flow box should I say, and we can just scale that down, and we can scale that out a bit just to make it more wider, or we can make it more smaller. We can also move that down if we want to, just so we got a bit more smoke coming in. You can also change the resolution as well of your file. If you go into our physics tab here, you can create a more higher resolution. The higher resolution will, depending on your computer, it can lead to your computer crashing, especially when you're playing it through the viewpoint. So it's better to have that set up once you know that the render that you have the effect that you want. You also got smoke adaptive domain, which can help with, well, for what some people would generally say is it helps keep the thing going faster, but with this box here. Now other things we got, like border collision, that we want to look into. It can collide with everything and it can just cover the entire box. As I will demonstrate here, we have our smoke. As you can see, it hits the border, and now the whole room is flooding up with smoke. So let's leave the better open. You have dissolve, which is how long it takes for the smoke to dissolve. As you can see, it's not exactly going far. We can turn that up so it only goes a certain way, or a certain time. So that's now on 12. We can turn it down to 10, which means that the smoke will only go against a certain height. So this is how you basically make fire with just with the object and quick effects, and you can just go to quick smoke. That's what I wanted to show in this video. Basically, was this quick little fire effect. You can change how it. There are a lot of things you can go through when it comes to making fire. like the smoke flames. You can change the speed, the smoke, the temperatures. You can also make a high resolution, field rates and display settings, thickness of the smoke. As there's a lot of things that you can do. If I change the thickness, I'm going to change it to like 3. And as you can see, the smoke is a lot more thicker. We can also make it more thicker by going about 5. Yeah. Now, I'll show you what I mean with the high resolution one. I just clicked on high resolution, my computer may crash, so bear with me. So now, if I just played this, as you can see, we've already got a bit more. Right, as you can see, our way our smoke now looks, as well as our fire, looks a little more, well, fiery looking. If you're happy with your results, I'm going to do a quick render for you. So I'm going to press the 0 key on my numpad. I'm going to grab my camera quickly and just press the G key and the middle mouse button to just drag that out, like so. And whilst I'm rendering this little shot, I'm just going to quickly pause the video right. No, I shouldn't have to. I'll do a quick render. Alright. Wait, I better pause it. Hold on. I am back, everyone, and this is basically what our result of our fire effect that we have created very quickly, just with what we already was given. As you can see, we have our fire, which looks very nice. You got our smoke, which is quite nice. Now, the reason why there is no light coming from here into the smoke is because, one, although the fire is emissive, it just means it's light. In the Blender's internal renderer, emissive objects do not cast light, so they're not used as light sources. In Cycles, you would get the emissive lighting from it. We are also going to use this as a demonstration for our compositing as well. Now, we're going to be compositing in Blender internal renderer. For a later time, I will be using Cycles compositor, which I generally do use for other works that I do make. But for now, we're going to be editing this object, or this render. But before that, I've got to see where we are now. Fire effects is done, yep. Okay, so I'm going to open up the compositor quickly. So to open your compositor from here we're going to click on our little tab here, and then we're going to go to our node editor. We're in our node editor now. As you can see, there is nothing around here. So what we're going to do now is click on here, which says use node, and we now have our scene here. Again, but you're thinking, I can't see in the background. That's because we haven't got a viewer in yet. To get your viewer, we go down to our add here, and then go to our output, and then go to our viewer, and just drag that there. And then we just drag this line here. Again, we can't see it because we ain't got our backdrop clipped. Now you can see it. I want to join these two together, so every time when we render out the video, it's gonna render out this video image in the composite view. Well, to do that, we're just going to hold down the left shift key, and then we are going to just click the left mouse button and drag down like so. And then we're just going to right click on that and press the G key just to move it more closer. Just to basically make it look more smart. Unfortunately though, we have come to the end of the YouTube version of this video. So if you liked what you saw so far, I would like for you to go to our website where you can subscribe to Blender with Luke channel to watch the full version of this video, where you get all of the tutorial session over an hour long into the hour-long videos every Saturday, barring this exception of the putting Blender with Luke sessions on hold. You can also support us on Patreon, or Patreon, however you'd like to pronounce it, and you can donate money to us to help our, not just our channel, but our studio as a whole grow. But it's all voluntary, so you can voluntarily do that at your sole discretion if you so choose. We ain't gonna force you. So, thank you for watching. I'm Lucas Nova from Aesthetics Interactive Studios, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, you can always hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you want to watch the full videos, you can go to our website, which is linked below. Thank you for watching.